All right, guys. We didn't live stream the game because I was being a little bitch
I mean, you were.
and I didn't know if the Chargers were going to win this game. And now that they have, I have the confidence to show up in the live stream and talk some shit now. I'm joined here by my buddy, the Mully Man. That's all he will be known by.
Always and forever.
We almost did it. We almost charged this shit. It almost ended very badly for us. But Justin Herbert and the defense pulled it off, or shall I say J.K. Dobbins and Lad McConkey, because that offense got stalled pretty much all of the third and fourth quarter into the very end. Obviously, that costly Justin Herbert fumble stalled that red zone possession,
I mean, you're
and
being pretty nice.
being pretty nice. Um, and then a wide open Lad McConkey throw on that possession before the Bengals went down and scored again. But we pulled it off. Chargers improved to 7-3 on the season, and playoff chances improved to about 90% now. John, this was your first. I'm gonna remove
Full
that.
NFL
First NFL
game.
game of the season. What did you think?
It was a great first half. Exciting. Obviously, was going for Herbert only because he's in my fantasy football. I needed Herbert to put up some numbers. He did exactly what I needed him to do until we came back from the half, and then Chargers pretty much shit the bed. Now, DP, he likes to be nice, but it was still shit.
We saw some classic chartering there in that second half. The Bengals obviously had something to play for. They're playing for the playoff hopes. They dropped to about 30% now. So that defense made some adjustments. It's kind of surprising. The 27th ranked defense in the league was able to stifle the Chargers. They weren't getting home, but they were doing just enough to cover up those DBs, to break up passes, and to force a lot of three and outs in that second half of the game
What's Chargers' offense ranked?
in the bottom third of the league.
Okay, so their offense isn't great. Their now Chargers' defense it has been top five, right?
Yep, the number one ranked scoring defense, a top five defense if you consider all metrics. They haven't allowed more than 20 points a game until tonight, where they allowed 27 to the Bengals. So a streak has been broken. That hurts a little bit, but hey, to come away with the win kind of makes up for it.
I mean, Herbert did give up his second turnover of the season, did he not? I mean, facts be facts. One interception going into this game, and then comes into this game and fumbles it at the gate opener of the second half, which really stifled the offense's momentum that they had going into halftime was astronomical. They came out and they looked like a completely different team. They looked like shit. And I was not happy that I was wearing a Chargers jersey. Now, I would also like to throw in the caveat that I'm not a football fan. I don't watch football. I don't follow football. Um, I just get on it and hang out with friends and things like that when the time arises. And this was a game that I really needed for my fantasy team to not go with the turkey, and I needed at least one win. So I was really betting on Herbert, and he kind of shit the bed. Now, fantasy wise, he still did good, but he still got almost 30 points, 27 something, but it was still shit.
Hey, 27 points for a fantasy line is still pretty good. I think after how unstoppable he looked in the first half, we definitely expected more from Jay Herbo in that second half.
Do we need to like time out for a technical difficulty? Do you not have a wrench to that way you don't have to hold
It's
that?
just extended all the way, so the weight of this heavy mic is just making it fall a little bit.
And no more weight.
Versus if I just bend it a little bit.
Yeah, bend it and tilt the head.
There we go.
Just fine.
Um, Again,
Where's that Chargers?
on a day where the Broncos put up the most points they have with the biggest margin of victory since 2018, where the Chiefs lose, where the Raiders lose, the Chargers had one job on Sunday Night Football in front of the nation was to come out with the win, and they did it. Now, it was almost in classic Charger fashion, but we escaped with the W. That's all we can ask for. Next week is the Bengals, or not the Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, who lost this today to the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. Chargers, I think, hold the tiebreaker. They move into fifth place in the playoff standings.
You got 2 more losses you need.
And we need 2 more losses from the Chiefs, and then we need to beat the Chiefs at home if we have any chance to win this division this year.
Now, does your loss count as 2 of those losses? Or do you need 2 prior to the game going in?
So we just need two more Chiefs losses, and then we need to beat them.
Okay.
So 3 Chiefs losses.
So total 3. 2
Yep.
going into the game.
Yep.
Chargers versus Chiefs.
Yes, correct.
At Chiefs home.
At Arrowhead. Now we narrowly lost against them earlier in the year at SoFi, but let's remember Herbert was coming off of an ankle injury. We were missing Rashawn Slater, our star left tackle. He was.
I mean, was he?
Was
he that injured?
He was pretty injured.
Was he that injured to come out and show up?
I know
after that.
I know you didn't see the games in the beginning of the season, but Herbert definitely had that ankle sprain and was dealing with it since the Panthers game. Hence, we lost that game against the Steelers. But in that first matchup against the Chiefs, we didn't have Rashawn Slater. We didn't have Joe Alt. I think we're missing Joey Bosa as well. And Derwin James was suspended.
Yeah, Bosa was out. I know he was injured.
And Derwin James was suspended based off that hit in the Steelers game. So we were out 5 starters in that first matchup against the Chiefs at home. They are beatable. They've proven to be beatable this year, and I think this is the season to do it. So,
I don't follow football.
What do you think about the game? What do you think? What do you think about the game?
The Bengals suck.
You got to step up and speak louder.
I think that the Bengals.
Don't tell me, tell them. We have one person watching right now.
I think the Bengals suck.
Why do you think that?
Because we beat them.
See, I don't have the ego to say that because I just watched the Bengals team rally to save their season.
I would like to say that going into this game, not knowing anything about football, that someone told me that the Bengals suck also.
I said that the Bengals
defense sucks. Now they have a great offense. Going into this game, I thought that the Chargers also had a great offense that was comparable. I learned that the Chargers might be way lower offensively than the Bengals. Defensively, I would have thought that they were much higher, but tonight's performance didn't equate to that.
Well, here's what I'll say. When the offense started to stall in the second half, the defense, they were just on the field too much. They still did just enough.
They were.
They were
burned.
They did just enough to win the game. Let's not get it confused. The defense saved the game.
They did.
But they were on the field too much in the second half because the offense couldn't get it rolling. They were getting gas. Now, they still limited this Cincinnati Bengals offense, who we saw Joe Burrow put up 5 touchdowns last week and Jamar Chase put up 3 touchdowns against the Baltimore Ravens. We still saw them do less than that.
Now, comparably, Chargers offense, Baltimore Ravens offense, where do they lie?
The Ravens have a better offense
than the Chargers.
Yeah, 100%. 100% have a better offense. I think let's take a look at that final score. Week 10, Baltimore versus Cincy.
See, the biggest thing to me though was Joey Bosa. I followed him. He's got my heart. I love defense. That's where I came from. For Bosa to miss that tackle.
Burrow was slippery tonight. That's 100% for sure. There's a lot of sacks that should have been had that he just escaped the pocket and would scramble for 10 yards, get the first down.
I mean, I'm pretty sure someone said that he was coated with some sort of oily grease.
Did he oil?
He might have. Pre-game. Here's
what I'll say about the officiating on this game. I think it was pretty fair. I think the officials actually did a good job. However, on the Joe Burrow interception, I cannot believe there was a roughing the passer penalty there. The defensive tackle, I get that he landed on top of him, but there was no helmet.
It was
to
chest
helmet.
to chest.
It was chest to chest. There was no helmet to helmet.
The helmet was after. It was like going down.
Falling on top.
Like falling on top.
He didn't lead with the helmet.
Yeah, I would agree.
So that would have changed the entire course of the game right there. Or maybe not. Maybe the Chargers still stall out and punt the ball, give the ball back to Cincy.
That's all what it is.
But a big interception was reversed on the field. Again, 34, 35. Oh, this is Baltimore Ravens. I got confused for a second. Yes. Last week, Bengals, they score last minute. They go for 2 against the Ravens. They don't want to take the safe bet, kick the extra point, go to overtime. So they go for 2. The pass falls
don't get it.
incomplete. They don't get it. But the Baltimore Ravens, obviously, they have a very lethal offense. Lamar Jackson had an MVP season. He's spreading the ball. He's looking like a more efficient passer over the last few weeks. Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, Flowers, and they brought in Deontay Johnson from the Panthers to strengthen up that wide receiver room. So they have a potent offense. Obviously, their secondary is their biggest weakness, the Baltimore Ravens. We will host them next week at SoFi at home, and will be dubbed the Harbaugh 2.0. Back in 2010, 2011, John Harbaugh, the Baltimore Ravens coach, coached against his brother, Jim Harbaugh, the now Chargers head coach, in the Super Bowl when Jim was coaching the San Francisco 49ers in that epic Super Bowl where there was a power outage and the lights in the stadium were out for about 40-minute intermission until they got the power back up. Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens came out on top. John is the older brother, the more accomplished NFL coach. But if we're talking about
maybe more knowledgeable,
older brothers. However, coming into next week, when the Baltimore Ravens visit the Chargers, let's look at some defensive stats right now. NFL defensive stats. And looks like we do have the shared screen up there on the broadcast. Oh, we don't want to use NFL.com because it doesn't sort it by how we want. We'll use Fox. All right, so as of now, Eagles still have the best passing defense. The Chargers have the number 6 passing defense, only allowing 12 touchdowns. Let's look at where the Ravens fall. The Ravens are number 27, having given up 29 passing touchdowns this year. That's a stark difference between the Chargers' 12 passing touchdowns allowed.
yeah, 29 between 12. That's a pretty big difference.
That's a stark difference.
Yeah.
So the Chargers have the defensive tools to win next week's game. The question is can the offense keep up what they did in the first half this week and not look like the offense that we saw in the second half?
I didn't see an offense in the second half.
I saw an offense in the last drive.
The last drive of the game.
Ladd McConkey,
yes.
if it wasn't for the rookie out of Georgia,
yes,
getting some separation, making some key catches down the stretch.
But coming out of the half, the Chargers look like shit.
They did look like shit. I can't even defend Herbert. I think let's look at the box score for the game because I think his completion percentage plummeted in the second half.
Going into the half, he was at what did I tell you? 67%?
Yep.
Which was great. It was a pretty good percentage difference.
Let's switch to the shared screen. Let's go to the Chargers versus Bengals. There we go. Let's get to the box score. All right, so Herbert ended the game 17-36. That's not that great. That's not that great. There was a lot of incompletions. He sailed a few balls in the second half. But he ended with 297 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but he did have that key fumble in the red zone in the fourth quarter. Herbert was the leading rusher of the game, 5 carries for 65 yards, his average of 13 yards per carry. J.K. Dobbins,
leading rusher.
He saved the game. J.K. Dobbins saved the game with that last-minute touchdown. He ended the game with 11 carries for 56 yards and an average of 5.1, which is a great average for a running back. 5.1 yards per carry is great. The problem was, you know what? I don't understand why we didn't lean on the run a little bit more in that second half. Maybe because the defense, they were stopping the run.
I honestly attribute it to they lost their momentum, and it became a scramble for the Chargers to try to make up for. They realized that the Bengals came out and showed out, and they had nothing to lose, like you and I talked about earlier. Is they just said, you know what, balls at the wall, and we're gonna put all our best players in, and we're gonna throw the ball, and we're gonna run the ball, and all of our players are gonna do everything that they can because it was their playoff chance.
It was. So, what a thriller on Sunday Night Football. I don't think most fans could ask for anything better as far as a competitive game in prime time. There's been a lot of duds this year. This was not one of them. It came down to the wire. Literally, Cincinnati had their last possession, 18 seconds on the clock, a couple Hail Marys, one amazing catch from the second-year player out of Princeton. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, Ivanis or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Second-year player out of Princeton. Joe Burrow, again, his pocket presence tonight, even against the stingy Chargers defense and pass rush, was pretty amazing.
It was
I'll,
good.
I'll be honest.
It was good.
Like he was escaping pressure, avoiding sacks. I do
And
not
slippery
know.
as shit.
I don't know how he did it. Again, Khalil Mack did not play tonight. He's dealing with that groin injury that he re-aggravated last week against the Titans. I suspect Jim Harbaugh sat him this week so that he can be fresh against Lamar Jackson. We're going to need that help to contain him next week. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this game.
I think you got to give credit to the secondary.
The Chargers secondary?
No, Bengals secondary.
Bengals second. They stepped up.
Bengals secondary.
They stepped up in that second half.
They might have a bad defense, but their secondary is I would say, top 5 contender.
For a team that came into the game ranked, let's see, where's the Bengals? Number 23rd in passing. Oh, that's not passing defense. Let's go. Where's the Bengals? Number 23rd in passing defense. They did not look like it in that second half. Now, again, they were playing for their playoff hopes. They're trying to keep their season alive.
Yeah.
So
they did good.
Let us know what you guys think of the comments. Hit us up next week. I will live stream the Ravens game. I know we kind of been doing this every week, and I dropped the ball this week because I'm a little bitch, and I was afraid that the Bengals would win this thing, and I just wanted to focus 100% on the game. Maybe that's why we won. But we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in. 17 minutes. Now, if I close this out on YouTube.